Hello there, and welcome to the Last Time Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz like there's no tomorrow. This week, we're talking about The Kingsman. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, John.
Hello, it's me. Yes, I'm here.
Are you ready to talk about this crazy film?
It is a crazy film. Are you going to put it as Kingsman is crazy or something?
I've actually put it as Kingsman is a pointless prequel for reasons that I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah,
it's safe to say this is the most wild film I've seen since Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
Venom.
Venom.
Yeah, it's crazy because Venom was insane. Like,
it was.
It had a decent story, great cast. But this was a lot crazier than I expected. Yeah, I mean, not in a good way or bad way. We just don't know. It's just like in the middle. It's just like, is this good? I was just sitting in the cinema, just like, am I watching the right film? This is called The Kingsman.
It's so strange that Kingsman: The Secret Service and this film are in the same universe, because the first film was kind of goofy in places.
Yeah,
it knew how to make fun of itself, but this film just doesn't. It's relentless.
Exactly. Like, I can get why. We're going spoilers. Okay, just
full spoilers.
The film came out in December, and it's nearly the end of January. So
it's been so long, man.
The weird part, I can get why, is that it was going to be like realistic in some parts. It was like, it's not going to be a comedy. The trailer showed it was going to be like a kind of comedy, didn't it? Like, well,
yeah, it was definitely showcasing all the comedic and action elements.
Yeah, and also like there was enough like high-tech weapons. You know what I mean? Like in the Kingsman films, they kind of like show the craziest weapons, like Asian whiskey. He had like a electric. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, like a lasso.
Yeah, lasso. Just like yeehaw, and just like using that, and just like wow.
That second film is cool. I haven't watched it for I think the last time I saw The Golden Circle was at your house. Do you remember? We watched it. Yeah. Was that 2018? No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we watched it and we had pizza, and it is a crazy film, but I feel like this film is kind of even more insane in some ways.
Yes, we'll talk about bad stuff, like about the film, like why it didn't really exceed our expectations for what.
Well, I feel like you're right in the sense that they definitely tried to do some really emotional stuff. I think the best part of this film were the moments that it explored like real life historical devastating events, like the killing of Franz Ferdinand and like the stuff with Gavrilo Princip. That was like really powerful, I thought. And the trenches, the scenes in the trenches, in my opinion, were just so amazing. They held loads of atmosphere and this sense of danger and foreboding. I think it made it really powerful.
Yeah, those were the stuff that I really liked, that gave like a sense of direction of what the history stuff. Like, I remember like looking back at my GCSE history and like, oh, I know the stuff now. Like, I've been watching the film and I was like, oh yeah, that's the three cousins, what they were doing around in Europe. And
oh my god, the three cousins. Oh, wow, brilliant. Honestly, like, so I think just in general, the villains in this film were insane. Like Tom Hollander playing like the three kings, like he's doing like his regular British thing that you see in like Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff, but he's also hamming it up as this crazy like German and Russian heads of state. It was it was so wild. I didn't expect it because the trailers only really showowed Rasputin, and we'll talk about Rasputin.
I thought Rasputin was going to be the main villain. Like,
me too.
For this film, I thought he was going to do this ridiculous plan, like to, I don't know, control whole Europe or something, like for World War One. Like, I don't know. But yeah, we'll talk about Rasputin. But there was a really surprising cast that were there. Oh, I forgot the actor. He was in Falcon. He was Seaman.
Yeah, Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah, Daniel Bruhl. Yeah, he was in there. I was like, wow, there he is. But I just didn't know what happened to him later on. I was like, oh
no, there were so many villains.
Yeah,
and I feel like the film in general, it suffered from too many moving parts. Like Daniel Bruhl is a good example, and the woman who seduces the US president, like. They don't get enough time at all.
Exactly.
But I guess
they're just there quickly, just like, okay, we'll just put it there, just like that. Like, it didn't give it like more time to know more about the villains, because at the table, at the beginning, they're giving out like rings, There could be like more time to find out like each villain. We didn't see like a lot of their signs, like what they represent. So
no, I think they're gonna go like, I don't know if you watched the post-credit scene.
Oh, I was too tired. I was just like,
right, okay. Well, I'll get to that like towards the end. But I definitely think they're setting up for a sequel, and I'll explain that. I'll explain that later on. But it's pretty crazy. But like, I think in general, what Matthew Vaughn. So you kind of see this in X-Men First Class, which is probably, aside from Kick-Ass, is probably Matthew Vaughn's best film.
I did not know he directed First Class.
Yeah. He did First Class.
That is so different because aside from what he did in different films, but this, First Class, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in the space of like 5 years, he made Kick-Ass, First Class, and Kingsman 1, which is like what a 3-film, like those are so good. Like what a first few films for a director to make, and they're all comic book films. And in my opinion, I think Kick-Ass is probably one of the greatest comic book films ever made. That's incredible to me that he made those 3 back to back.
Yeah, that is crazy.
He definitely shows, in First Class, he uses the Cuban Missile Crisis and he integrates all of that really, really well. And I think he displays that same ability here. As I said, the strongest stuff, I think, is the historical stuff. And I think he weaves the characters into the road to World War One. I think he does that really, really intelligently.
Yeah, like how one small thing can lead to a massive thing, like the death of Franz Ferdinand, and then like slowly chaos unfolds everywhere. There was a lot of history stuff like when I was learning about World War I.
I was literally, it's funny because I was watching an episode of Legends of Tomorrow literally the other day, and they did the same thing, like where they're like in 1914 at the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, and it really goes to show how much that one event triggered everything. And I think that the film was struggling, in my opinion, up until that point. And as soon as they got to that bit, I was like, okay, now I know what this film is going to be. And I think I'm on board with that. It was showcasing all the best parts of First Class. Yeah,
that was great. There was a really good bit, like, when Oxford, like, as the narration over talking about war, and then like the first battle, and then all the soldiers die. And then there's like a massive time lapse when all the village is exploding in the distance, we see that, and then all the ammunition comes up over a time lapse. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah.
All of that, like how destructive war is, and that's a great time lapse over that to show how everything escalates in a crazy short amount of time. With like 4 years.
Him as a character, I feel like this film, unfortunately, it wastes the talents of half of its cast.
Fiennes.
Exactly. Ralph Fiennes, he should have lent into the split between charming, sweet talking guy and this subdued, grief-stricken father who's worried for his son. He should have brought his Grand Budapest levels of charm. I feel like he's a very shallow character at the start. He will go like between scenes and be like, you're not doing this, and then the next scene be like, okay, fine, you're doing this.
Go to Russia.
Exactly. He's like, we're not going to Russia. Oh, okay, guys, we're going to Russia now. It's like, what?
Okay, we're going to Russia.
You like what? So, did I miss something? It felt like it was cramming so much in.
And I felt like there was a lot to take in. Like, after when Oxford's wife dies in that camp in South Africa.
Oh my God, that was such a horrible opening.
Oh my God. It was a weird start because we didn't know what was happening. Like,
no.
Okay, he's going to Kitchener, and then he's walking, and he's trying to talk about, he's Red Cross. Yeah, Red Cross, try to do that.
Yeah.
And boom, there was a sniper, and then it's like, look after our son.
It felt like the beginning of the first film, but in the first film, you have Eggsy's mum being really grief-stricken about her husband dying. You can feel those emotions, and as good as an actor as Ralph Fiennes is, I don't think he sold that. I didn't feel the connection between him and his wife. And so the opening just felt really weird to me.
Yeah, I just could not find any emotion.
It was basically a poor man's opening in the first Kingsman. But I feel like that first act...
no, my wife.
What am I going to do? The love of my life is dead.
Oh, no. Anyway,
I'm showcasing
emotion. My son, I must look after my son because of my wife. I mean, it was 12 years later. Like, 12 years later. I was like, huh?
I do feel like Conrad, I feel like he is one of the strongest characters and really is the emotional center of the film. I feel like in a similar way to the relationship between Eggsy and Harry in the first Kingsman film, Conrad being the force that grounds Oxford. And I think when Conrad dies, the changing character that we see with Oxford is, I think it's really strong, and I think he carries the grief with him until the very end. And I feel like, as I said, the trenches were such a good part of the film. And I feel like I didn't expect Conrad to die in the trenches at all.
That was so unexpected, when, like, you're not Scottish. That's British. That's British, yeah,
exactly.
Bro. No, you're not Scottish. Yeah.
Have we learned nothing that we should not attempt accents on this show?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the Scottish people listening. I'm sorry.
We are very sorry. We can't do Conrad's same Scottish accent. I swear,
you can't do it.
That whole sequence, it was shocking, and that made me empathize with Oxford. Like, that death was the thing that made me feel for that character.
I was like, wow, that's really emotional now. I feel really, empathy towards him. But at the start, there was nothing. I was like, oh, exactly. Yeah, that's for the opening. I'm like, that's for a plot device, for that whole thing. Like, I'm a pacifist, and then later on, it's like, oh,
I'm actually a secret government agent. What? Like, it was really mental. Like, when they cut to him interrogating Gavrilo Princip, and they reveal that he's actually been a spy this whole time. It felt really out of the blue, even though I knew that it was a Kingsman film. It did kind of feel so abrupt. He didn't show any signs of being secretly this kind of suave guy until that moment.
Yeah, and he was like, I go around and just do some stuff and try to stop people, and I have a massive data stuff for these two people that for your whole life. Yes, these are the ones that you made them, and then they got the data and stuff. Oh my god, this is the best bit of the film. I was like, you get thrown a lot of books at you, but they just won't process enough because oh no,
there's just so much going on. But I think the idea that the Kingsman comes from a network of servants, I thought that was really cool. And that was actually kind of the best piece of knowledge that expands upon what we knew from before. I don't think this prequel does anything that changes the way I see the other films. The Kingsman forming with different characters from throughout the film, some really weird cameos like Stanley Tucci and Aaron Johnson. Like, why are you guys here for 2 seconds?
Stanley Tucci, he's there.
I feel like he is. He's definitely there, and he's an original part of the Kingsman apparently. But I never had these questions. I never needed to know how they were formed, and none of this makes me question the motives of the Kingsman or change what I know from the first 2 films. I don't think this adds to the experience of watching Kingsman 1 and 2. It's not like the Star Wars prequels where it actively makes me think of the original trilogy differently, and I think that's in a good way. And I don't think that this film does that. I don't think it justifies its existence.
Yeah, it's just to be watching the Kingsman, you understand the history about the characters. I mean, this was kind of a good introduction to the round table, who were
the
people.
Yeah,
that was good. Understand that, but itself, the film just didn't really, I mean, there was a lot of subtle hints about what they were gonna say, the Oxford, not bros. Yeah, there's something else, and then manners maketh man at the end. We'll talk about that. You heard that, you're like, oh, but I thought he was, founded by that, how this was going to be fun, the Kingsman, the whole idea of it. But I don't know, there's just something missing about it. It's not properly Kingsman.
Yeah, the reveal at the end when they all give each other the code names and Shola walks in as the very first Merlin. He looks so stupid. He's got a little jumper on, and it's just Mark in the original films, Mark Strong pulled that look off, but I'm sorry, but Djimon Hounsou, I love you, but you didn't pull it off, and I feel he was so wasted. Djimon Hounsou is in everything somehow, plays Korath in the MCU, he's in Shazam and Aquaman, and he just seems to pop up everywhere, but I feel he's always wasted. And Shola could have been a really cool badass butler like Alfred in Gotham, or in many Batman things, to be fair, but he's just a boring side character. He literally has 2 character traits: fear of heights and loyalty to Oxford. He's barely a character.
Yeah, and I just didn't see like the dynamic between Oxford and him as well. Like I couldn't see it, and there was not like a lot to show off like what makes him as an interesting character. He was just there for fighting, and that was it. That's all I can get.
They didn't develop Oxford's relationship with Shola or Polly enough. I thought Gemma Arterton was quite good as Polly. She was a grounding force for Oxford, and she was kind of cool in action. But she didn't, like, when she kisses Oxford, that came out of literally nowhere. I was like, what? Like, what did I miss? Like, what? They barely developed their relationship to the point where that felt like an earned moment.
Yeah, very weird. And I was like, did they have something the years before? Like, it didn't really develop to understand. Early in the film, I could get like an idea, like, oh, you know, when Oxford said, "You need to come into my study," I was like, oh, he must be doing something weird. But no, he's like chilling and just giving her a drink, and that's it. And yeah, but no, that kiss came out of nowhere. Just like, oh, okay. So, oh yeah, and the weird thing is that there was no build up. It was so weird. It didn't feel like a build up, you know, like in spy films or something like, you know, when the antagonists have like a master plan, like they're gonna take over the world and use like SIM cards to, you know, control people, or use I forgot the thing in No Time to Die. Yeah, that thing, you know,
the blood thing.
Yes, the blood thing. Yes, thank you, Tom. And you know, with stuff like that. But no, it just felt empty. Like,
honestly, I do think the villains were loads of fun, but the main villain, oh my god, the reveal.
Let me tell you, this is the worst. This is the worst plot twist thing that you can do in your life. That is just lazy writing.
It was so lazy. The reveal, it was embarrassingly obvious and stupid. Like, this guy we don't even really know is like, oh, this is the villain. Like, okay, like, cool. I don't care because I don't know this guy. Like,
I don't know this guy.
So
I forgot about him. Like, when he died in that boat, like with Kitchener, like, oh, you're alive? And then it was just like the most stupidest plot twist ever. I was just sitting there, oh, could it be like,
it's like, you know, you think about the first Kingsman, when it's revealed, spoilers, when it's revealed that Arthur, Michael Caine's character, is actually working with Valentine, that's an incredible reveal, because you know,
I did not expect that, and that's a great build up to, you know, have a plot twist like, oh my god, it actually works. It actually works what he's doing. But it's no, what is this? What is this?
It's like we knew.
You know, you remember that boat that I died in? And that's like, I'm going to say it in my British accent because I can't do Scottish. I'm sorry. You do remember that boat that I died with Kitchener? It was not me. I went away and went on the submarine and boom.
I like to kill goats or rams or whatever. Like, it was in the first Kingsman, we got to know Arthur quite well. And, you know, Michael Caine is wonderfully likable as always. And then that reveal, that quick reveal, you know, the Eggsy realizes and the audience realizes before, you know, he twists. I think it was amazing. And the other Kingsman film, they had great actors playing the villains. You got Samuel L. Jackson and Julianne Moore, and they are both like really cool and they chew the scenery. But Matthew Good is the villain. I just thought he was so weak. They don't even show his face half the time. So you can't really even like see his acting. And do you know what's the most annoying thing?
Tell me.
Matthew Good played Ozymandias in Watchmen. Where is all of that? He was a great villain in that film. Where is that?
Wait, he presence? Was Ozymandias?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he doesn't even bring a fraction of the same gravitas to this role.
Oh my god, he went from the best villain to the worst villain.
What happened?
Matthew Vaughn, I really want to know. Okay, my brain is just like not working anymore because this actor,
it could have been so cool.
Do you want to know the funny thing? Throughout the film, I thought it was David Tennant.
Me too.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I thought it was David Tennant. I literally said to my dad halfway through, I was like, I think it's David Tennant.
Yeah, I was thinking that, it's David Tennant. It sounds like him, bro.
It does.
Like, if it was like somebody else throughout the film, I could have been like, yeah, that's great. Like, if he had like something on his face or seeing it like a villain potential, like to look him terrifying. But no, it was that Scottish guy from that boat.
It's that random boat dude. Hey, have you heard the rumors that David Tennant might be coming back as the 14th Doctor?
Wait, okay. That is
it's
good,
weird.
but
I don't know how I feel about that.
Weird. How about they just do like you could go back to the 10th reincarnation, and then
I think
you got
if the rumors are true, I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna have him do what he does with Capaldi. You know, Capaldi becomes the guy from Rome, and he has like this arc where it's all about I chose this face for a reason. And I think they're going to do a similar thing.
Yes.
But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Can we talk about Rasputin, John? Please. We need to.
Oh my God.
We must talk about Rasputin.
Yes, we must talk about Rasputin. Now, as we all thought that Rasputin was going to be the main villain of this film, he was a better villain than that bloody Scottish guy.
I loved Rasputin, man. It just makes me he was
a quiet character in this film. Like, honestly,
it makes me even more upset that Rhys Ifans wasn't in No Way Home, like properly, because this guy can bring a performance. He was so batshit crazy, and like at times it does go a bit too far into the realm of stupidity. But my God, it was literally the most fun thing ever. And every time I think about it, that alone made this film worth it.
Yeah, seeing Rasputin, yeah, that's so cool. You know, what they did with some of the stuff. It was crazy what this whole Rasputin section was.
They go to Russia, and the dinner table, when he's just talking about, he's like, we Russians love to fuck. It's like, okay, sure, cool.
I was like sitting in the chair, I was like, wow. He's like,
he's so weirdly sexual, man. And then he's like healing Oxford's leg and like blowing on it. It's like it was so weirdly sexual. Like, were they supposed to like? Was it supposed to look like he's just giving Oxford a blowjob? Like, it was so weird.
Oh God! I keep it safe for what?
And then he projectile vomits everywhere. It was just insane
because he detected cyanide in his stomach. Yeah. Like, you know that cake that I can't. The way
that he eats the cake as well. He properly goes for it. He properly like chomps on it, and I felt like I was high in the cinema. I was so confused.
That's like mostly where the cyanide is, like in that cake, and then he just survives it. Like, that was not right with my stomach. And then he's like, your leg is healed. And then
he actually heals his leg as well. Like, he actually heals it. Like, what the hell? He's like, now we must go inside the freezing cold lake. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Oh my God. Matthew Vaughn, he found a hand-to-hand action style, and he perfected it in the Kingsman films. Like, everybody loves the sequence in the church in the first Kingsman film. And every since then, he takes it further and further. And I have to say, the fight with Rasputin and Shola with the music, oh my God, it was just the like Rasputin spinning around while music like no. I was just like, what's going on?
I was trying to comprehend everything, but my brain was about to die from watching like how Rasputin's like dodging all of these like while like dancing like a ballerina or something, like
he was
it was like what he was doing. And then the crazy thing is that he was getting stabbed, but that didn't affect him at all. Like when Conrad and Oxford are like about to stab him, like two sides, like he's holding on, and then he's getting stabbed, but then he's like just completely just flinging them off, and then just like tries to get out, and then he finally gets stabbed in the heart, and there's like, oh, that's over. But then Rasputin comes up and like a zombie and like comes back.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know something really weird about that?
Oh no!
In real life, Rasputin was like an actual like monk that people thought could like do miracles, and I promise you, in real life, he was poisoned, drowned, stabbed, and shot. All of those things happened, and he didn't die until getting shot at the end. Like, that actually is what happened in real life. That is insane.
Okay, that's attention to detail.
That's attention to detail right there.
That is great. Okay, I can give a point to Matthew Vaughn for that. Well done.
Kingsman, 10 out of 10.
But no, that's in a short amount of time. That's great amount of detail. Like, what he was doing, like getting stabbed, poisoned. Wow, Rasputin just lived a very weird life, I guess.
Yeah, he did. And then they had that whole thing like where he glides across the room as well. And Oxford was like, I see you have perfected the glide. And it's like, what's happening? It was insane.
I wish there was like more scenes of that. Like that was great,
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Russia sequence lasted 20 minutes at the very most, and the film's about 1 hour 10 minutes, 2 hours 10 minutes. Sorry, I just think that
say, like, oh my god, that film was very long. Yeah,
no, it just didn't justify itself. Like sequences like the Russia sequence were great, and the trenches, those were like the standout bits for different reasons. One of them being really emotionally harrowing, one of them being batshit crazy. But I just don't feel like none of it really justified itself. But oh my god, the stuff in Russia, it's the stuff of dreams. It's the stuff of spice dreams. It was crazy. I loved it so much.
Did you see that the YouTube channel of the Kingsman? They did the song Rasputin while Rasputin was in that fight scene.
What, Rasputin?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, you know what? Yeah. That fight scene is on YouTube. So everyone, I swear, if you haven't seen the Kingsman, you don't just Google like for the Kingsman Rasputin fight scene. I watched it again last night. It's just so much fun. It's just so crazy. I can't believe it. It's great. No, I do want to talk about the post-credit scene. So, right, I'll explain it to you now. Okay, so Daniel Bruhl's character, he introduces the person who's going to take over the Russian sector. And he's like, we're gonna bring Russia back to its former glory. And I've got someone to help. No, it's not Stalin. I don't think it is anyway. It might be. I don't know. And he's like, I have somebody here who's going to become really important. And he's like, oh, who are you? And it cuts to the guy and he's like, hi, I'm Hitler. It's Hitler. They literally bring in Hitler at the end. Bloody Hitler, John. It was
not Hitler.
Hitler. It was actually like genuinely really terrifying to see him. It's an example of historical elements hitting really hard. The actor they got, obviously he doesn't have the mustache and the hair yet, but the actor they got was actually pretty spooky, and seeing him, it kind of sent shivers down my spine. And if they make a sequel to this, I genuinely don't know how I feel about making Hitler like a goofy Kingsman villain. Similarly to all the historical stuff in the trenches, Hitler did horrific things, and the way that I see it, it needs more emotional weight than jokey villains they usually go for. But they make jokes out of Hitler and stuff like Jojo Rabbit, so maybe it would work. I don't know. Maybe I need to see it to believe it. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they should make a Kingsman 2?
That's going to be really hard for them because
with Kingsman with Hitler as the villain.
There needs to be a balance because Hitler, as you said, he did horrible stuff like in the war and did anti-Semitic things as well, and as well, this is the Kingsman universe. This has got to have like goofy villains. So like what Rasputin, like hell, they just did something with Rasputin and that was like crazy. But they need to work on that villain thing, like a whole villain for that. That was weird in the Kingsman. Like there was nothing goofiness. Like we need to like Valentine. I forgot her name in the Kingsman Golden Circle.
Poppy.
There you go, Poppy. Yeah. And like those like other like the goofy kind of characters, like the villains, like they create this terrifying thing. Like what they did towards the people. Like Poppy just threw one of the people into the mind machine and then turned.
Oh, she did the mincer. Yeah, that was weird.
And it's terrifying. Like yeah.
Poppy and Valentine aren't like this. But all the other villains are really good fighters. Like even in this film, you have Oxford fighting the main villain with like they're fencing each other. And all the action in this film is really, really good. As I said, Matthew Vaughn is really good at doing action. But are they going to make Hitler like a fighter, like a really good duelist? Like that doesn't seem right to me. That feels like to me he doesn't seem like somebody who's really that kind of like got that much power, physically. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel like... What would be the point of making a Kingsman 2? Like let's say that they make Kingsman 2 and it's set in World War II. Whether it be the same characters or like, the next generation of Kingsman, what are we bringing to the franchise? I don't know. I just don't know why we're spending so much time on this franchise. The first one was good. The second one was fun. But after that, I feel like we're just going too far in some places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a lot. Like Second World War, like how they're going to do with everything that's going to happen.
And there's so many different angles you can take in World War II, I guess it would be from the British perspective. But even so, there are so many different countries involved. You could delve into the nuclear side of it, or even the Holocaust, or, you know, like the actual like battles on the ground or in the air. There's so many different places they can take it. But I think that I just don't know what it would bring to the franchise as a whole.
Yeah, that's gonna be really hard for them. Like, how are they gonna work that through and like not?
I don't know. I think they are making a sequel, so I guess we'll just have to find out.
Well, how's the box office doing for them? Like,
I don't know. I'll have a look now. Obviously, it opened very soon after Spider-Man. So worldwide, 106 million. Not amazing.
Decent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the budget is. 106 million. That's like, that could be considered a bomb depending on what you're looking at. So
yeah, look for the budget. Yeah,
looking for the budget. Okay, apparently the budget is 100 million. Basically, the rules are.
God, no, that's not good.
No. So for those of you who don't know, the rules are basically whatever the budget is for a film, you got to double that to include marketing. So if the Kingsman is 100 million, then it's basically 200 million because of the marketing, maybe even more because it was delayed so many times. And so if it only makes 106 million, it hasn't even broken even. To break even, you've got to make double the budget. So they would have to earn 400 million to break even. So they might not make a sequel. I don't know if that's their plan. Yeah, so I think Matthew Vaughn wants to make a sequel to the Kingsman, which makes sense to me.
Wow, I see.
I guess we'll just watch this space, I guess. That's all I have to say. Do you have anything else to add?
This was an unexpected film. I was watching at 9 o'clock till 11, and I was just tired. I was like,
really?
Yeah, I was like, wow. This film is I was just like going through the cinema like, haha, Rasputin.
I watched it. I did a triple bill at the cinema. I watched The Kingsman, and then I watched The Matrix Resurrections, and then I watched Belfast. And honestly, I've never seen three films that are so different from each other. And I was so unprepared for that. I really thought The Kingsman was going to be completely worthless and bad. It wasn't worthless. It was pointless. It wasn't worthless. But it was crazy. I can't call this film bad.
Yeah, it's very mixed, isn't it? Like
100%.
This might be one of those conflicting films. Like, it's so bad with the villain, but also there was some good stuff. Like with
Rasputin. So what do you think you'll give it out of 10?
I don't know. This is really hard. Okay, 6. I'm gonna say 6.
Okay, yeah, I think I agree. I think I'd say 5. I think there's about as much that I like that I didn't like, but honestly,
okay, I'm gonna say 5. I feel 50-50. I don't know. Honestly,
Matthew Vaughn, he needs to direct something else now, please. You know, his name has been thrown around for a Superman film or a Bond film or just anything else. You know, he hasn't directed a film that isn't a Kingsman film since 2011, which is over 10 years. And I want to see him do something different. You know, as I said, he's made some amazing films, you know, X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass. And I want to see him do something different. But, you know, he's doing Kingsman 3 and maybe a second Kingsman. And, you know, he's even rebooting Kick-Ass. So I don't think he's going to do anything different anytime soon.
Rebooting Kick-Ass?
Yeah, he's going to reboot Kick-Ass.
Why?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, like it's like James Cameron hasn't made a film that isn't Avatar since Titanic.
Avatar,
maybe. And now he's making like 6 Avatar films in a row. And Matthew Vaughn is just making Kingsman films over and over again. I want to see him do something different. I don't. If they do set a sequel in World War II, I kind of doubt that it will be Oxford again. Because let's think about it. He's what? He's in his 50s, maybe in his late 40s, something like that. Maybe even early 60s, and he's gonna be in his 80s or like his 70s when World War II begins. So I don't think that they should do that. But who knows? Well, if they do, we'll definitely cover it here on the podcast. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to see more. Next week, we're going to be talking about the best Batman stories. We're going to talk about some of our favorite Batman stories before the Batman. Oh yes, it's exciting times.
Okay, we got some exciting stories to come back to, from games, comic books,
definitely.
Films or anything like that, you know,
the very best. But stay tuned if you want to see that, and you can look at any of our old videos. Last week we did films ruined by expectations. We recently did The Matrix and loads of stuff, so you can check all that out. And you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OutTime Film Pod, or you can email us with your thoughts on the Kingsman or anything that we've talked about or anything that you want us to talk about, and we will answer on the podcast if you email us at outstandfilmpod@gmail.com. We love it every time that happens, once in a blue moon. But yeah, that's everything. Yeah, take us out then.
Oh yeah, get vaccinated, wear your masks.
Oh yes.
Get double jab. No, not double jab. Well, yeah, of course you do. Get double jab.
Triple jabbed.
Okay, take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.